Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we're going to take a look at yet another Warcry Warband, because there's been another one. The sixth one has been revealed at ATC, or the American Team Championship, and we got to have a look at these, because so far these warbands have been absolutely quality. Some of them, I have to admit, I've liked more than others. The last one that we saw, the Unmade, is by far my favourite of the bunch, hands down, but I have to say, these dudes actually look pretty damn cool as well. They're a completely different style. They have very much their own personality, even compared to the other warbands, which actually have been pretty damn diverse when it comes to different visual styles. They look pretty good. So let's have a quick look at the Cypher Lords, shall we?
Triumph in battle is only the beginning. To spread the insanity of chaos is the ultimate victory. We will become the eyes of the ever-chosen. Let madness reign.
So like I say, there's quite a nice visual style to these. They do look very different to the other warbands that we've seen before. They've done a great job of keeping a consistently chaotic theme, but having everyone look pretty much their own faction, which honestly can be a little bit difficult. The thing is, Chaos is very diverse in the way that the different cultists look and act, but it's also very easy to just go, well, it's Chaosy, so make them look like barbarians and we'll leave it at that. Stick a bit of blood on them, a few spikes, and you're done. These guys still look nice and Chaos, but they have a distinct elegance to them that so far I think is pretty unique amongst the other warbands. A big part of that, clearly, is the amazing helmets. Loving the helmets, very Tzeentch, like it a lot. Very over the top. I mean, I don't know what the helmet on the right there, the one with the, what looks like some sort of, I don't know, warp-esque grenade? Who knows what that could actually be? We'll find out in due course, obviously. I feel like his particular helmet probably throws off the centre of balance quite a bit. Walking round in that is probably not the easiest thing in the world, just due to the sheer size of it. Their neck muscles must be second to none. Do not attempt to behead any of these. Your sword will stop, just dead. It will not be able to make any progress because the muscles will just lock it in place, and then they'll stab you with some sort of weird fan. I also really like the hair. Like the plumes. The plumes are making me think of my own Emperor's Children, that just makes me happy. They look graceful, is the thing, this lot. So, yeah, the Cypher Lords are as mad as the most frothing cultist of Tzeentch, delighting in spreading mayhem and madness wherever they go. They're deadly fighters as well, using skills earned in the martial colleges of Notchseed? Notchseed? It can't be Notchseed, that'd be stupid. Notchseed. We'll say Notchseed. Why not? It's probably wrong. It always is. Yeah, I have to admit, I thought I liked the Crow dudes kind of second to the Unmade. The Unmade are top of the pile. They are my absolute favourites so far. They wear their own faces on their belts, having taken them off. They take the face off, which I like a lot. These guys, I think, might have actually slipped up into the second position. They're not as like over the top. They're not as like absolutely mental as like the Crow dudes, whose name I can't remember. The Corvus something or other. It's a Corvus something or other. We'll find out in a minute. There's a big picture of all of them down the bottom, which we'll take a quick look at. But there's something about the elegance of these guys that I really, really like. And I have to say, I really do like the helmets as well. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about them that they almost look like. The first time I saw them, I was like, oh, that's a little bit. There's like a little bit of like bird going on there. There's almost like an avian feel to it, but also they look a bit alien at the same time. The use of the really excessive over the top crests that kind of go round them as well. They've just done a great job of combining what looks like very, very deadly elegance with very kind of ostentatious headwear. But the rest of the model doesn't look that ostentatious. It doesn't look that over the top. It's as though they've reserved that for one specific spot. And I don't know why, but I really like it. I think it works really, really well. Some nice close-up detail on these as well. Yeah, the one with the fan and the grenade looks really nice. I also really enjoy the posing with those swords. I have no idea. I'm not a sword person. I have no idea whether that's something you would do whilst wielding a sword. But who really cares? It looks cool. It looks fluid. It looks like there's some momentum there. It looks a little bit showy, like a little bit like there being a bit of a show off, which I quite like. Yeah, there's something about this warband that is just sticking out to me as being just that little bit more interesting, that little bit more fun than some of the others. I think it's because some of the others are very just barbarian, and they are cool. They look great for like barbarian models. But there's something more subtle about these that I quite like. There is a subtle side to Chaos, and I think it's easy to forget that. So, okay, so here we go. We've got the first six Chaos Warbands. So we can take a look side by side. In terms of like classic barbarian action, the Untamed Beasts look absolutely fantastic, but as I say, this isn't like they're not subtle, they're very old school in a way. It's a bunch of rippling muscles, oversized weapons, like crazy helmets with heads on. It's very Conan the Barbarian, and that's great, but I do also like the subtler side of Chaos as well, which these dudes are most definitely not that. That's not a problem, but... So, the other ones was the Iron Golems, which, again, I quite like. There's quite a gladiator feel to these guys. They were pretty high up on my list for favourites initially, I have to admit. Especially the one that seems to just have weapons instead of hands. I really do like that approach. The helmets have got a weirdly creepy feel to them, which works really well. And to be honest, these guys are itching to be turned into some sort of like Khorne cultist conversion force. But again, they're not particularly subtle. They actually kind of come across a little bit as just a more heavily armoured version of the Untamed, which again, it's a cool style, but I do like the more subtle edge of things like the Cypher Lords. Like if you compare those to those, there's a much bigger gap between those two than the Iron Golems and the Untamed. There's a bigger gap there between the Iron Golems and the Cypher Lords. That like group shot as well, I think does a lot to show just how graceful this warband looks, especially in comparison to the more brutal barbaric ones. That was the other one, the Splintered Fang. Yeah, I did like the Splintered Fang actually. There's a nice bit of elfy Idoneth stuff going on there, which is quite fun. Yeah, I do like those, but the problem is that the Corvus Cabal exists, and even though I always forget what they're called, this was like, for me, one of the more mental ones so far. This is one of the ones that kind of made me sit there and go, wow, they're going full on mad with some of this stuff, and I really like it. It's the guy with the wings and the wooden claws on the legs that properly sold me on the idea that they're going to go a bit crazy with Warcry. And then, of course, they created the Unmade, which showed they were going to go full crazy because they just decided to make Dark Souls the Warband, which I'm 100% a fan of because I absolutely love Dark Souls, and that remains my favourite. I'd say the Cypher Lords, due to how different they are to all the others, is like firm second place. Corvus Cabal has moved down to third place, but the Unmade still up there, still my absolute favourite so far. But I have to admit, the difference between these and all the others, they are properly unique. I think in fairness, all of the warbands are pretty unique, but these guys especially, they just have something about them that is so completely separate from all of the others. Oh, they're doing such a great job. They really are. They're doing a fucking great job with Warcry. I mean, even if the game turns out to be something I'm not that interested in the end, like if I take a look at the rules or see it being played and kind of go, oh well, I was looking forward to it, but I'm not entirely sure whether I'd actually play it all that often. In a way, I don't really care at this point because there's like a solid 3 warbands now that I just want to paint and own for the sake of painting and owning. Like even if I never use them for Warcry, even if I never ever manage to play the game, I don't think I'd be that bothered because the models are fun enough and interesting enough and different enough, and they have enough personality of their own that I would quite happily just put them together, paint them, put them on display, and be totally chuffed with that. Like, I'd be able to just look at them and go, you know what, I don't play the game, but I don't care. I don't care. I like them so much that I'd be happy to just have them as like a collector's thing. I mean, there's a couple of Age of Sigmar models that I've got that I don't, as I say, I don't play Age of Sigmar. And yet, there are a couple of models from that range that I've bought purely because I like them that much. The fact that of the 6 warbands so far, there are 3, like a full half of those, I outright just want for the sake of having. That is a pretty damn good ratio. And the other 3, I wouldn't complain about either. The chances are, though, I would try and find a reason to use those for something else if I didn't end up being able to pick up Warcry, or if I like decided that the rules didn't look that great for me or whatever. I would find uses for the other 3, but these guys, I just want. They just look so nice, look so good. Anyway, that is the Cypher Lords, the latest warband to be revealed for Warcry. I now have 6 of them, and they all look pretty damn good to me. Let me know in the comments down below what your favourite is. Is there any that's standing out to you most? Like, is there one that is your absolute top of the range favourite? And if so, which one is it? Like, is it the unmade, or are you more of a fan of the classic like Conan look? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all of the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that shit. There is an affiliate link in the description down below for Element Games. If you click it, you can buy stuff from Element Games that's 40k, or Age of Sigmar, or Paint, or any other tabletop thing related. And they'll save you money, and I get a little something for sending you that way. So you can do that if you like. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.